we have a lot more news, but Mavi has a daily graphic. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yeah.
You're good?
Yeah, it's another Friday, so,
yeah.
you know, but...
the week is ended.
Yeah, it's ended, just like last week. Then a day after we had the news of Kaba, so...
Yeah.
It makes the whole a big globe for all of us.
It's true. We're marking exactly 1 week of Kaba's passing tomorrow, God willing. Yeah.
Well, we'll be doing that at the forecourt of the multimedia buildings around here, or just in front of Joy FM. And so, please. But we still have the book of condolence that has been opened. You just have to pass by Joy FM. You get to the reception, and then you'll be shown whether you're an individual or corporate organization. Please, you can do as the honors.
All right, so we dig straight away into the newspapers?
Yes, we do straight away.
All right, let's do the Daily Graphic newspaper. On the front page of the graphic, President calls for stronger relations between Ghana and Denmark. And you know how I said Queen Margaret yesterday? I think it's Margaret or something like that. Yeah.
I was about telling you.
It's pronounced nicer than I did yesterday.
It's never easy.
President Akufo-Addo accompanying Queen Margaret II of Denmark to the Flagstaff House in Accra. There's a picture of the two of them on the front page of the paper. Queen is very excited. One of the things that she said yesterday was to apologize on behalf of his country for the awful things that
took place during the slave trade era.
Ancestors did. Exactly.
But they've enjoyed they are enjoying the booty already. So.
Yeah, I mean,
they should give us some. They should do some reparation.
Oh, but I know there are a lot of things that they do in Ghana.
Oh, okay.
Is
it because
I mentioned Ibis to you yesterday on the show, didn't I?
We used to have Danida, but I think ultimately folded up or something.
Yeah. And apart from that, these are just the international NGOs, but apart from that, they do government to government, you know, so there are things we benefit a lot, I guess. Also on the front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper, Junior Graphic Papers advertising, Parables Publications organize Christmas context for children. So details in today's edition by the banner headline here. Man 22 to die by hanging. He confessed to killing 2 African Americans at Akwemufie. And he's been found guilty. This hasn't happened in a very, very long time that we're going to be hanging somebody to death. Story on page 3 says, Yaw Anoche Frimpong, the 22-year-old man who confessed to killing 2 African-American women in Akwemufie in the eastern region, has been sentenced to death by hanging by the Accra High Court. The court presided over by Mrs. Justice Merle Efwa Wood passed the death sentence last Wednesday after a 7-member jury unanimously found Frimpong guilty on 2 counts of murder. So the details of that here, and I'm sure we would have some organization coming out, especially because of the death sentence that's been slapped on him, and it's been prescribed, death by hanging. There are a lot of people who are waiting to die, but it's almost like a life sentence. We haven't, if you like, killed anybody in a very long while, except that we haven't scrapped that law from our books. There have been calls to do that, but we haven't yet. But should we? So
when you kill somebody, you should be killed too.
It's always a very, it's always, I don't know. But that's justice being served, right? So
yeah. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my principle.
So the gentleman is on the front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. Apology to Mr. Bernard Kisi Abrokwa. Not sure exactly what it's about, but you can look in the Daily Graphic newspaper. In the center spread, there's a special feature tackling Ghana's youth unemployment. Global Communications takes year-day projects. Not sure if I got that right, but details of that project in the center spread of the Daily Graphic. And on the back page, security deployed to Bupe and Yape because of the closure of those bridges to ensure uninterrupted rehab of bridges. Details of that on the back page of the Daily Graphic newspaper.
All right, so we have the Ghanaian Times. On the front page of the Ghanaian Times, we have 6 die in gory accident at Boasso in the Bonafo region, and the story is on page 3 of the paper. It says 6 persons died on the spot in a horrific accident involving a Metro Mass Transit bus and a taxi cab at Boasso near Bechim in the Bonafu region yesterday evening, and the victims were 5 passengers on board the taxi cab and a suspected mentally derailed man who was said to be strolling on the road. According to the eyewitness account, the driver of the bus traveling from Sunyai to Kumasi attempted to save the life of the suspected mentally derailed man on his lane. The driver ended up knocking him down before colliding with the oncoming taxi cab, and then that resulted in the death. Because I wanted to go in and see what really may have caused the death. Yeah. Right, so may they also rest in peace. But we also have President Akufo-Addo hosts Queen Margaret.
Yeah.
I hope I pronounced it right.
Queen Margaret of Denmark.
Of Denmark. All right.
It's a royal visit.
Yeah. And then we have Health Ministry clears 650 Ghana cedis out of the million Ghana 650 million Ghana cedis out of the 1.2 billion Ghana cedi debts. 17. Good. I hope NHI is also included. Government lauded for clean environment initiative. And then we have on the back page, rehabilitation works on the Kwabinya Taifa roads begin.
Hey!
That used to be your old
road.
No,
not Kwabinya Taifa. We're waiting for the Kwabinya Pokwasi road. It's terrible.
Okay, the one that leads to the main road. Okay. Is it a main road?
Yeah, it's a very major road.
I've passed.
I think that you know the Pokwasi from the Pokwasi Junction stretch because of the plan for an overhead.
No, that was.
Is it an overhead? Yes.
Is it still on?
Yes. It's a plan. I think the previous administration had even gone ahead to secure some funding. I know some houses on that stretch have been marked.
Okay, to be pulled down.
Exactly, and those that will be affected will be compensated. So you see that they've written on the buildings, and I know that conversations were ongoing. Not sure how far. So that stretch from the Pokwasi Junction, I guess, to Kwabenya, the junction from one stretch to the other, I guess it's part of the plan. So I don't know if that's the reason they're not touching that stretch yet, because it's such a terrible road and it's a major road that most of us use. Yeah. Otherwise, you just stick to the main and Sawem road. So it's an alternative route for a lot of us. If you're going from maybe Hacho to
you want to bypass all that.
You don't want to come back all the way and use exactly. So it's a major stretch.
I've passed through there before, and because really I was coming from the Holiday Inn area.
Yeah.
So I went through the normal N1 route. Then I had to climb onto that road before getting to the person I wanted to. It was around midnight or so. Yeah. So when I was going, the person told me, "Oh, bit me a fantasy crowd could."
But if you're not familiar with that stretch,
and I passed.
And if you're not driving like a rugged car like yours, you would feel the impact.
Okay.
In fact, generally, the Kwabenya roads.
It means you can't use normal sedans or saloons.
The Kwabenya roads are terrible. Okay. Terrible. So from one Regimanal, are you familiar? There are two Regimanal estates. There's the Balloon Gate and then I think the first one. That stretch, oh my God. Hey! And that's why we've been calling on the Member of Parliament.
That used to be your hood.
It used to be my hood, yes.
Mama V advocates for a lot of things, but when you hear her talking,
to lobby,
she's passionate about
this area. But that also brings to mind, now that we're talking about, let's talk about my roads. The Kuntunsi satellite roads.
So this one was the old abode, now the new abode.
We were so excited when we realized they were fixing the roads. Remember that the president went to visit the satellites. There was something that he went to launch.
Yes.
So quickly, hurriedly, they did something. And they started another. There is a major, those DVLA, the private ones.
Yes, the testing, the American Testing Center.
So there's a major one where I live. And they were supposed to do the road all the way to that end. Charlie.
You never got to that.
Charlie. Hey, we've been looking for it.
But the president has come and gone.
I asked.
The president has come and gone. You still want the thing to be done?
It has to be done.
It's in the budget.
It has to be done.
Yeah,
it's one of the planned things.
Supposed to be
but I hear that they haven't paid the contractor. And I got the information from a very solid source. Yeah,
sorry.
But it's so terrible. I think one of the things we suffer from most in Ghana is just the roads. But I wonder how they fix it, because they'll do it, and the next time you see potholes. This one that they hurriedly did because the president was coming, I think the president should visit again, because there are potholes in that road. Amazing.
But as for the
Kabenya roads, Charlie, something must be done. Something must be done.
It is well.
Otherwise, the MP should use her common fund to fix it. Something like that.
The common fund, what is it? You can't even fix 1 meter. Anyway, so let's look at the Daily Guide. It has on the front page, Ibrahim fights government over Boxer. We know the issue about Exton Cubic, etc.
Hey, Ghana media, we stopped talking about that.
And then we have Denmark sorry over slavery. And Moavi was on that beat with the Queen of Denmark, who was in the country. So they'd been having some close discussions on the subject of Denmark and their involvement in the slavery on the transatlantic route back in the day. We also have NDC MPs disrupt parliament. Madman kills 5 at Bechim. We know, I'm sure it's related to the accident. So those are the stories we have. But we have the center spread, stop abusing children, and Amma McBrown cries. And then we have, we're told that Majid Michelle, Yvonne Okoro, Mamavi Osuabuaje Lydia forcing others for People's Celebrity Award.
Did you smuggle my name in there?
I think so.
Because I don't fit the kind of
You're not a celebrity. That's for you.
The category, the classification.
You don't like.
I don't fit in there. I like to be a rebel.
Look at the people. I'm a Mark Brown. Yeah. And then let's look at Jennifer Lawrence breaks up with Darren Aronofsky. And no problem. After Hollywood, there's normal.
But with with this particular person, it's no news. She'll move on. Before you know, there's somebody else in the picture.
I don't know how they do it. So quick.
It's just like the movies.
It's so quick and dramatic.
They are so used to the movies. It becomes their real life.
Moses Akrobotu says Roland will not go to Denmark again because I talk about the slave trade. Oh, Moses, good morning to you, though. Burna Boy still on the run. We're still talking about the center spread of the News One leaflet or pullout of the Daily Guide. But the main story also there that also features Celestine Donko apparently writing an open letter to Ebony, saying that you keep don't be. But I also have to write to Celestine. You two don't be clothing yourself too much.
So yesterday I was listening to Hits FM and Ebony's manager. I'm not sure what Frema Ashka, who manages Kwabena said in terms of either lyrics or their choice of words or something.
I think Frema, I want that on YouTube.
Okay, so what exactly did she say about Ebony?
Frema, you know Frema does the morning show on the channel? On the channel.
Okay, on
the channel, Metro. And so I think the two of them, just like the way you and I banter. So they were talking and she said that she didn't need to be explicit about herself and her nudity before she sings, or use that as a forefront for her singing, but rather she should show what she can do with her voice, etc. Because people want to hear her, and the content of her lyrics should be civil and. The man.
What is the name of the guy? I think he's Bulletman or something like that.
He's part of the rough and smooth guys.
The guy he decided to go back to the songs that Kwabena has done from adults.
Adult something.
Echo help us
with Samini.
Adult music.
And
the guy said, "You fear some." You're there no good. You won't come talk mine.
You see, when you live in a glass house,
throw stones. You know how it is. So I think he gave her an appropriate response. Yeah. As for Celestine Donko, they didn't get into that.
No. I'm sure they'll get something on her.
You know how Miss Bell talks about regretting some of the things that she said.
Oh, she does talk about them?
Of course.
That she regrets?
Of course. Listen, when you begin
to famous, I guess.
When you begin to grow, you realize that it's not all about you being famous or getting attention to some music that you've done.
And the thing too is that the internet now doesn't go away.
No, it never.
It's actually never. Even keeping your data more and making them
the scary
more
bit,
prominent.
The scary bit, and I feel that when we do things as adults, we should think about Debbie. The primary school kids who go on Google these days, your mates can Google your daddy. He's on TV. And then imagine what comes out once they Google Roland Walker and all the scandals. They're going to be teasing your child in school.
Yeah.
We should be mindful of some of the things that we do. It's not just for yourself. When you're gone, even when you no longer care about what people would say, there are other people. It's called family that you need to protect.
Family.
No, you don't joke with family. When you leave here, where do you go?
Yeah, straight go home.
Let's do the final newspaper on the front page of the Finder newspaper. Front page of the Finder. Residents marooned. Roland, is that it?
Marooned. Oh.
Tempted to say
marooned.
Marooned.
It means they've been.
Okay. They've been boxed aside.
No, kind of.
They've been mafiaed.
No, let's say if there's a flood and maybe
isolated.
Isolated. Yeah, they've been cut off. Yes.
All right. Collapsed bridge curtails vehicular movement. That's on the front page of the Finder newspaper, and I like the fact that we're always learning on the show, which is a good thing. Ghana, Denmark forge closer ties. And the Queen seemed really excited. All the different pictures I've seen, she's really smiling, like real smile. It's not fake. She's super excited to be in Ghana. WAEC cancels 1,873 results of private candidates. That story is also in the paper. We're losing our assets, according to small-scale miners. Melcom demands copy of collapsed building investigative report. Very interesting. Let's go to page 8 and 9, where we'd find two stories of interest, one on Melcom and one on WAEC. So let's deal with the WAEC story first. Says the West African Examination Council has withheld results of 1,873 candidates who wrote the West African Senior School Certificate Examination for private candidates on suspicion of being involved in examination malpractices. So WAEC said the results have been withheld pending the conclusion of investigations, according to a statement signed by Reverend Victor Brew, Acting Deputy Director of Public Affairs of WAEC. It said the withheld results would be released as soon as the council concludes investigations and candidates can access results, and they're given the website how you can do that and details. There are some background stories to this as well in the paper. So if you wrote the private examination, you haven't received your results, I guess you know why, because there are some investigations ongoing. Now to Melcom. Melcom Group of companies is demanding investigative report from state security agencies who handled issues relating to the old Achimota Melcom building that collapsed on November 7, 2012. Addressing a press conference in Accra to give Melcom's side of the story, Godwin Avanogbo, Director of Communications, stated that 5 years on, Melcom, as an investor creating jobs in Ghana, is much concerned that not a single investigative report on the collapse of that building has been released. This is like, it's becoming our trademark now. We never start and finish anything. All the fire things that we had, nothing. This collapsed building, remember the Israel brought support as well. In fact, they saved us a lot. We still don't know. Meanwhile, I'm sure they told the fire service what their findings were. Were there some Americans who came into the picture as well?
Yeah.
And
Israelis had to bring dogs.
Yeah.
Now, young coming baby wolf if you had the dog and the
company dog. The company at the center of this, company at the center of this. I mean, they've gone through a lot. We've got to give it to Melcom, really. Yeah. Because there were
their name,
so many
their
talks.
Reputation.
Exactly.
Sometimes
and they've been able to in all the talks and all the things. Yeah. And they're still going strong.
I believe the building was not there. They rented it.
No, the building wasn't theirs. They rented it. So you can imagine, how about the prosecuting if it was the fault of the landlord
or perhaps maybe a dereliction of duty by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, or maybe a building
so
inspector.
Nobody gets punished. That's what it means. Because if we actually don't even know the cause,
that period,
there's no documents.
We were there live, doing life. But that one,
it was a major story. That was back in 2012. Very scary. Something like that had not happened. We were helpless. In fact, we were helpless.
What it says,
practically helpless.
You have to bring dogs. To come and do.
And you know, I think the painful thing is, this probably has been concluded. Though. Report presented.
You think it's indicting?
And when you go,
it's indicting some big person.
Apart from that, you probably would go in and they will say that, no, we can't find it. Don't be surprised
I'm not.
if it has been done and they simply can't find it.
I'm not.
Here we are. Malcolm, sorry, but I don't know. I doubt if after 5 years nothing has come, if anything will come in the next 5 years. Just go ahead and do your business. All right, those are the stories that I'm looking at.
All right, so we look at the last paper and then we go and do the online portal. So we look at the Daily Dispatch newspaper. And apparently there's been a performance assessment of the various MMDAs, that's Metropolitan Municipal and District Assemblies. And in 2017 so far, we've had those that are performing poorly, being the Ashanti, Volta, and Eastern Region MMDAs. But the story of interest is, I want to die in Zimbabwe, Mugabe says, as he is granted immunity. I think I agree. He's 93, going on to 94. What else? Where else is he going again? Charlie, the man was a great liberator. Ultimately, of course, ran down the economy of Zimbabwe, etc. But still, should be celebrated somewhat for what he did, but also chastised for what he could not do or some of his inactions. So those are the stories we have. But quickly, let's look at the various online portals. We go to myjoyonline.com and try and see whether we can just talk about a couple of the stories on myjoyonline.com. Amavi.
Yep, myjoyonline.com. Minority predicts collapse of SHS in 5 years. So Minority in Parliament has predicted a collapse of the country's senior high school education in 5 years if the challenges plaguing the sector under the free SHS policy, I guess that's not, it's not addressed or something like that.
Okay, so do you understand? It means that in 2021, if they win power, the team will collapse.
Oh, so you fast forward the years to
because you are fighting
elections.
for power in 2020. You say in 5 years the two collapse. It means that all those who are benefiting and those say will not vote for you. Some of these comments, sometimes the politicians, you know how to talk. So that when you say,
well, you can pick it from two angles.
Yes, I know, right?
Sometimes when it's so alarming, it's also to get the necessary people to address the concerns, because there's a pause. It says if you get it,
a condition,
exactly. So I mean, it's not, so you can from two different angles, I guess. But they are minorities, so you know. Yeah,
they can say anything.
No, not anything. But it has to be such that somebody would want to fix the problem. Yeah. Because there are challenges, and we've been talking about it.
Today even we feature the story.
There are challenges we've been talking about.
Not enough dormitories, and so a DC or an MC of one of the areas. I mean, his face looked very like somebody who was angry and said that we had the Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osemensa saying that the ongoing construction of those new schools should be stopped, and rather
is this almost becoming like when we extended the calendar year to four and we didn't make provision for that? Yes. Why do we always it's okay, let's go on. Kaba brought Asempa to Ghanaians. That's according to Spio Gabra, who is former trade minister. He says the late Asempa FM presenter distinguished himself in the profession that many found it difficult to hide their political biases. And that's so Gefty Afenyendatsi, who is a former GJA president, whilst she was also paying her tribute, said that, Kaba had a soft way of doing things. So he's not coming at you like the way some people would deal with you, like they're interrogating you. I don't like that style, by the way. Kaba had a very gentle way of asking you, and he'll go around.
Conversational.
He'll go around and come back to the thing, and before you know, you've said what you didn't want to say. And I always enjoyed his interviews, particularly with General Mosquito. With General Mosquito. There are some people that you hardly get anything from them, but he certainly had a way around. And I think it's some of these things that we should remember him for. Yeah, he had a very great interviewing skills. Yeah.
May so rest in peace.
Yeah. All right. Robinho sentenced to 9 years in prison for sexual assault. This was about some 9 years ago when he was playing. Is it for Inter Milan?
I think he was playing for Milan.
Milan. Okay. So, is it Milan, Inter Milan?
No, in Milan they have Milan and Inter Milan.
Okay. So, that. Yeah. So he's going to serve his sentence.
No,
he's not. He's going to jail.
No, in Italy you go and appeal.
So he's not going to go in.
It's not. It's playing currently for a team in Brazil, but
but that's no excuse.
In Italy, it's like Berlusconi.
That's no excuse. They're going to ship you back into the country.
Yeah, for it.
Okay, so I guess otherwise it turns diplomatic.
Judicial system. You go and stay checking. You go 15 years. No. They don't do things
We're not
like
talking about chicken here. We're talking about raping someone.
And I'm saying it's an allegation for which
it's not an allegation
for which he's been found guilty.
Yes, and he's been convicted.
I'm saying that there's according to the report for
he's
the judicial system that is operated in Italy, he has many opportunities to appeal, and so it may take years.
In the meantime, he's guilty of the offense. Let's move on.
But he's not serving the sentence.
But he's guilty. How else do you want to say it? Ejako has no report to issue. In fact, I need like some hot coffee.
Hot coffee,
yeah. Hot coffee in a
white. I've never seen you drink coffee.
Hot coffee in a white mug.
All right. I know, right?
Ejako has no report to issue. Boss Oil Contamination Committee never met, according to Bauer. And he's a member of Parliament for Bongo. It's been a long while since he's been on the show. He's alleging the much-touted committee set up to investigate the Boss Oil Contamination saga never met. Listen, is this not Ghana? We're just talking about the Malcolm one. Mulan. So I'm not surprised if there's no Boss reports. It's just that, Ghanaians, we will forget it. As for the media, they will hold on to something for like a week, maximum 2. That's it. And the story will change. So,
Have we changed? We need you to change.
So, hopefully we'll get a response, and hopefully Mr. Jaku will prove to us that indeed the committee actually sat and they've come up with something. Anna. Finland rolls out bread made from crushed cricket. What is that? A Finnish bakery is to offer bread made from crushed crickets in the move that is hoped will help tackle world hunger. I'm never going to eat that. What is that?
Sure, it will taste nice.
Really? Okay, please let's move on here. We eat our Ghana bread like that. Insurance companies unwilling to insure makeshift medical store. The health ministry says it has adopted a new drug distribution system after insurance companies refused to insure the temporary central medical stores. Yeah, that's a huge risk. Yeah, they have to do the assessment. And if they think that, Charlie, especially again, this is another one, the central medical stores. What has happened after that incident? What has happened? So if you're an insurance company,
a lot of millions
exactly
worth.
So if you're an insurance company and you haven't seen the end of one major thing that happened, would you put your nose into it?
It can be bent at any time.
Yeah. So let's fix our core problems. Otherwise, we will not be able to move on.
If it was a negligence of a staff, it means the insurance company will not pay. Yeah.
And all the insurance companies heard all the stories that came out. Yeah. If you don't, insurance we are with you. If somebody went into it, I'll be surprised.
Wow.
Because the next time you would hear another story that somebody has done something, whether they are covering up something and so they just decided to put the place on fire, then you will be paying for somebody's negligence.
Yes.
Yeah.
It should not happen.
This one, not even negligence, fraud. It's a throwback Thursday, a Muslim, Roman Catholic, and holidays at Aquinas. Okay, so this is one for you to read and enjoy. So you can get onto the page and look at this Throwback Thursday story on myjournline.com. Anchor for strike. Director apologizes to nurses and workers. The hospital director of the Anchor for Psychiatric Hospital has apologized for going overboard, in quote, in resolving some systemic challenges in the hospital. So heads of institutions like, you saw the thing coming. If the doctors and the workers had not decided to go on strike, would you be coming up with this apology letter? You live with the people. You can gauge the mood. You know their frustrations. What stops you from apologizing? And you wait till it gets to this point. And
I saw a comment on Facebook that said because he's come to apologize, it shows that...
he waited for too long.
It was negligent.
He should go.
You're not the appointing authority.
No, I am not. But some of the things, I don't get it. Well, there are a lot more stories on myjournline.com. There's the World War II veteran couple married for 70 years, dies on the same day. Oh, wow. That's a very romantic story.
What? All died on the same day.
Yeah.
So romantic after 70 years of marriage. 70 years.
Aww. Did they die holding hands or something, or just lying down together? That would be amazing and incredible.
Yeah.
Aww.
Talking about holding hands.
Yeah.
Talking about holding hands, we have a song for you on that. Holding hands. Okay, so let's look at City FM Online and see whether we can do a review of the online portal, City FM. It says Denmark apologizes to Ghana for role in slave trade. And then $50 million needed to complete UG Medical Center. Let's move on. We're being neglected in creation of regions, Eastern Corridor chiefs. You are?
Make your case, make your strong case. That's why the commission
has been
set up.
And then Anchorful Psychiatric Hospital Director apologizes. Oh, is that Dr. Dodo?
Dodoi.
Dodoi.
Is it?
Dodoi. Is that Dr. Dodoi? He looks like him.
Please, can you open the story? We beg you.
He's a very good friend of mine.
Yes, me too. I'm surprised.
Is that him?
I think it looks like him.
You see the one? I will have to call him up.
It's
a dog.
Let's finish this story.
Oh, but this man is a good man. Whatever happened, it was just a misnomer. Papa, you are nice, Papa.
That's a typical Ghana trait.
Forget
right there.
I am a Ghanaian.
Right there.
Dr. Dodo, good morning to you. Then, no.
Okay, now, wait. Let's face the story because he's our friend. The Anchor for Psychiatric Hospitals Director, Dr. Eugene Dodoi, has in a 4-page letter explaining what he believes may have angered nurses of the hospital who are demanding his removal.
We accept your apology.
Roland.
We have accepted the apology of Dr. Dodo. Dr. Dodo, we have accepted the apology. Good morning to you.
Hey, keep quiet. You are so fake. You're not genuine.
I'm genuine.
So,
Dr. Dodo, good morning to you.
The doctor says it appears the approach he used in attempting to implement his reforms may have angered the staff. He thus apologized in a letter to the nurses who started a sit-down strike Monday, leaving patients stranded. Okay, so it was the nurses only.
Dr. Dodo, to err,
Roland,
you are forgiving.
The nurses had earlier given the government a 3-day ultimatum and threatened to declare strike if the government fails to heed their calls. They're accusing the medical director of maladministration and gross disrespect to subordinates. But the medical director, who is reportedly out of the country in a letter released today, said, quotes, I apologize unreservedly to all staff of Anchor for Psychiatric Hospital who have been hurt by my approach.
I think I love this apology.
Wait. Keep your comment to yourself, Roland. Keep it to yourself.
Dr. Good morning to you. Let's do more reviews, City FM. Dr. Eugene Dodo, nice man. This is why it's just to err is human.
See, that's what Ghanaians, that's what
it's just a blip. It's just a blip.
That's what we do. There's a real issue that must be tackled.
You are a Ghanaian. Special prosecutor bill. CSO upset over...
Fred, shouldn't we go off the show? It's 7 o'clock.
Well, it's time for sport. But let's look at the Africa page of the BBC before we go. I think Mama V is just so biased against me. It's not fair.
So Zimbabwe's new leader to be sworn in today. What's going to happen? Interesting.
What's his name again? Emerson Mnangagwa.
Yeah, I haven't drunk the coffee, so the name is not coming. But we will see for the first time, hopefully, because that's what the talk is about. We would see him and Mugabe, because he's going to witness the swearing-in ceremony. We see. Will he make it? Will Gucci Grace be by his side?
But I thought he was sacked by Mugabe.
Yes, but this is a party call. The party decides who they want to bring in to finish the tenure.
But the constitution has a way if you want to replace it.
Well, it is not the 1992
constitution. President.
Excuse me, they are not using the 1992 constitution of Ghana.
I know, right?
So the party decides who finishes the tenure of the former president.
I'm saying this man was sacked by Mugabe.
Yes, we all know.
Did Mugabe reinstate him?
It doesn't matter. It's a party call. So we'll see what happens in Zimbabwe, but we'll certainly keep you updated. So, you know, that's it for Zimbabwe. Let's talk about what's happening on the show later today. Right. We've got the Ministry of Health passing through. In fact, before the launch of their paperless system, they were here on the show. But what are the other tiny bits of information that we need to know? The Ministry of Health will be on the show with us today. So if you heard about the launch, you've seen the things. If you have questions, anything you want to ask them, I guess it's a good time for you to forward your questions through. Now, Anklebo White's new play, Nicholas, I hear it's a bomb. Echo saw it on Wednesday, I think, and he's been talking about it. So you definitely have to grab a ticket. We will talk about Nicholas on the show today. Hey, does it depict the life of Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams? Well, that's what I'm hearing now. So the play titled Nicholas gives a vivid description of how the Papa grew up and why he's who he is today. It airs later this weekend, and we will talk about it. Who knows? Maybe Echo would just be generous to buy one person a ticket, maybe a couple. That would be good. And on AM Talk, we have Daniel Aboaji, who's Member of Parliament for Bantama, and Mr. Roxin Nelson Dafamapo. Yes. Yeah. The way you pronounce it is wrong. This is the right pronunciation.
I know how to pronounce it. But we have Live Divine Ministry presented a seminar titled "My Marriage, My Ministry."
What did you say there?
My marriage.
We'll talk marriage on the show later this morning. But Amos Kevin Annan, who's usually with us on Fridays, he has a special program coming up for boys and men. He's putting the boys and the men together. It's a beautiful concept, you know, and we will tell you a lot more about that as well later on the show.